Omane pemeo.
Sorry.
Cover you want to sit? It's fine. Yeah.
Camouflage.
Oh no, so she's gonna.
Is that a camera?
Yeah. Oh, it's the microphone. Oh,
It's just a
okay.
microphone.
It's pretty fancy.
Cheryl, somebody left their phone here. New injury. What did you do? Did you carry too many flowers? No problem. It's okay. No need to share. The boss no one is Tisaro. Chira boss no. Beshi makita na cruzera. Huh? Well, spread your leg a little.
Kadro, Aldous has just come. He may need a chair.
It's comfortable. You think I will not be comfortable? I'll be the first one pushing you. If I'm not comfortable. I think if I'm not comfortable, I'll be the first one pushing you. What is it? What's my name? What's that? We have to share.
So we'll be starting on page 20 in the Kopan Prayer Book, the foundation of all good qualities. So just to let you know before we begin that this will be a slightly shorter session than usual. It'll be an hour and a half. So from 5:30, if you want to do the circumambulations and make offerings, we'll start then while the dedications are happening, just take our turn. But we have to be out fairly promptly at 5:45. So just begin by generating a strong positive motivation for doing this session of prayers. So just remembering that Rinpoche doesn't actually need the help of our prayers, that we're doing these prayers for us ourselves to purify our negative karma and to accumulate merit. So bring to mind, as strongly as you can, Rinpoche's qualities and Rinpoche's incredible kindness, and generating a strong wish that any positive energy we create together this afternoon, that we dedicate it for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, that he takes rebirth quickly in a perfect family, a perfect Dharma environment, that he's quickly and unmistakably recognized, and that he's soon with us again and as soon as possible continuing his amazing projects. So just reading the foundation of all good qualities mindfully as a direct meditation on the Lama Rin path. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect Guru. Correctly following the Guru is the root of the path. By my clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon the Guru with great respect. When I have discovered that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is extremely difficult to find again, and is greatly meaningful, please bless me to unceasingly generate the mind, taking its essence day and night. This body and life are changing like a water bubble. Remember how quickly they perish and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. When I have found definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be conscientious in abandoning even the slightest collection of shortcomings and in accomplishing all virtuous deeds. When I have recognized the shortcomings of samsaric perfections, there is no satisfaction in enjoying them. They are the door to all suffering, and they cannot be trusted. Please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Through my being led by this pure thought, with great remembrance, alertness, and conscientiousness, please bless me to make keeping the individual liberation vows, the root of the teachings, my essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother transmigratory beings. By my seeing this, please bless me to train in supreme bodhicitta, which bears the responsibility of freeing transmigratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, without familiarizing myself with the three types of morality, I cannot achieve enlightenment. By my seeing this well, please bless me to keep the vow of the sons of victorious ones with fervent effort. By my having pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to quickly generate within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. When I have become a suitable vessel by training in the common path, please bless me to immediately enter the holy gateway of the fortunate beings, the supreme of all vehicles, the Vajrayana. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping my vows and samayas purely. When I have gained effortless conviction in this, please bless me to protect them even at the cost of my life. Then, when I have realized exactly the vital points of the two stages, the essence of the tantric sets, and am enjoying the yoga of 4 sessions with effort, without being distracted by non-meditation objects, please bless me to accomplish these according to the teachings of the holy beings. Thus may the virtuous friends who reveal the noble path and the spiritual practitioners who correctly accomplish it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely the collections of outer and inner obstacles. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So now we go to page 89, the 8 verses of thought transformation. So we'll pause briefly between each verse to contemplate its meaning and also to recite some manis. Determined to obtain the greatest possible benefit from all sentient beings who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I hold them most dear at all times. So here we visualize that blissful white nectar comes and purifies all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought that prevents us from holding others most dear, and that this nectar brings all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which holds others most dear. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Wherever I am and whoever I am with, I always consider myself the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart hold others dear and supreme. So again, thinking that blissful white nectar comes, purifies all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought, that prevents us from considering ourselves the lowest of all, and from holding others dear and supreme. And this nectar also brings all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which considers ourselves the lowest of all and holds others dear and supreme. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. In all actions, I examine my mental continuum, and the minute a delusion arises, since it endangers myself and others, I forcefully confront and avert it. Again, blissful white nectar comes, purifying all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought, that prevents us from confronting and averting delusions the minute they arise. And the nectar also brings us all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, as well as the wisdom realizing emptiness, which ceases all delusions. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Whenever I see sentient beings who are wicked in nature and overwhelmed by negative actions and heavy suffering, I hold such rare ones dear as if I had found a precious treasure. So again, blissful white nectar comes, purifying all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought that prevents us from holding wicked sentient beings dear. The nectar also brings us all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which holds others as dear as a precious treasure. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Mani Mani Padme Hum. When, out of envy, others mistreat me with abuse, insults, or the like, I accept defeat and offer the victory to them. So again, blissful white nectar comes, purifying all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought that prevents us from accepting defeat and offering the victory to others. The nectar then brings us all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which accepts defeat and offers the victory to others. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. When someone whom I have benefited and whom I have great hopes gives me terrible harm, I regard them as my virtuous friend. Again, blissful white nectar comes, purifying all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought that prevents us from seeing those who harm us as our holy virtuous friend. And then the white nectar brings all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which enables us to achieve the perfection of patience and to see harmful beings as our holy virtuous friend. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. In short, both directly and indirectly, I offer every happiness and benefit to all my mothers. I secretly take upon myself all their harms and sufferings. Blissful white nectar comes, purifying all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought that prevents us from offering every happiness and benefit to all mother sentient beings and secretly taking upon ourselves all their harmful actions and suffering. The nectar then brings us all realizations, especially loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, which offers every happiness and benefit to others and takes all their harmful actions and suffering upon ourselves. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Also, I do not defile all these practices with the stains, the superstitions, the eight worldly concerns, and by knowing all phenomena to be illusory, without trusting in them, I am freed from bondage. So now the blissful white nectar comes, purifying all our obscurations, especially our self-cherishing thought that causes the eight worldly concerns and the ignorance that prevents us from perceiving all phenomena as illusory. The nectar then brings us all realizations, especially the wisdom realizing emptiness, which perceives all phenomena as illusory and by which we are released from the bondage of delusion and karma. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. And just finishing with the request at the bottom of the page. Great Compassionate One, please extend your holy hand and lead me and all other sentient beings to your blissful pure realm after this life. Be our virtuous friend in all our lives and quickly lead us to Buddhahood. So next on the separate sheet, Dependent Arising, a praise of the Buddha. So this is a prayer that Rinpoche knew by heart and almost always recited as he did Kora. Homage to my Guru, the youthful Manjushri, seeing and speaking of dependent arising. He was wisdom supreme, teacher supreme. I bow to him who knew and taught the all-conquering dependent arising. Of the suffering existing in the world, its root is none other than ignorance. The understanding to kill this root, you said, is none other than dependent arising. How could those of intelligence not see dependent arising as the heart of your doctrine? Where is greater praise of you, therefore, than in praise of dependent arising? Whatever depends on circumstance is empty of nature. What greater teaching is there than this? The foolish, however, seize on it and only tighten chains of extreme views, while for the wise it cuts entangled nets of fabrication. This teaching is not seen in the works of others. The title of teacher, therefore, is yours alone. Given to others, it is but the hollow flattery of a fox being hailed a lion. Greatest of teachers, greatest protector, speaker supreme, guide supreme, I bow to the teacher of dependent arising. Benevolent teacher, you taught to help all living beings. Emptiness is the essence of those teachings, its highest proof, dependent arising. Those claiming it proves the opposite, those denying its very existence, how will they grasp your teachings? For you, emptiness seen as dependent arising does not render as contradictory emptiness of self-nature and ability to function. To hold to the opposite, however, that with emptiness there can be no function, and with function no emptiness, is to fall into a dangerous trap. In your teachings, therefore, knowledge of dependent arising is highly praised, but it will not be known to views of self or non-existence. Non-dependence, you have said, is like a skyfall. Non-dependence, therefore, does not exist. Anything existent by its own nature contradicts existence by cause and circumstance. Nothing is not dependently arising. Nothing, therefore, is not empty of self-nature. Self-nature, you said, cannot be destroyed. Phenomena, therefore, possessed of nature, would render nirvana impossible. Samsara likewise would have no end. You spoke, therefore, with the roar of a lion, again and again on this absence of nature, and amid the assemblies of the wise who dared to challenge you. The absence of self-nature anywhere, this arising because of that, both presentations are true, and what need to say that both come together without contradiction. Moreover, by reason of dependent arising, one will not depend on extreme views. This is the excellent protector who makes you creators supreme. This arises from that. Such realizations do not hinder but mutually complement. What is more wonderful, more astonishing than that? Praising you this way is praise indeed. All other praise is lesser. That some, hostile to you, held as the slaves of ignorance, are enabled to bear the sounds of no self-nature comes as no surprise. That others, accepting dependent arising, the crown jewel of your teaching, are enabled to tolerate the roar of emptiness does surprise me. If by the very nature of dependent arising, gateway supreme to no self-nature is asserted, how will there be led to that noble path that pleases you, that incomparable highway well traveled by exalted beings? Self-nature, real and non-dependent, dependent arising, unreal and of dependent nature. How, without contradiction, could they two ever come together? Consequently, that which dependently arises has forever been empty and void of nature. Things, however, do not appear that way. All this you have said is therefore like an illusion. Others may attack your teaching, but there will never be any match. Such claims are validated by dependent arising. How? Because its explanation casts away all possibility of flawed assertion and faulty denial of all phenomena evident or hidden. This very path of dependent arising, the reason for seeing your words as unparalleled, generates conviction in the validity of other teachings. Having seen the truth, you taught it. Those following you will leave all troubles far behind, for they will cut to the root of every fault. Those, however, outside your teachings, though they practice long and hard, are those who beckon back faults, for they are welded to views of self. When the wise see the difference, how could they not revere you from the very depths of it? What need to talk of many teachings? The simplest conviction in just a single part brings on the greatest of joy. Alas, my mind is ruined by ignorance. For so long have I gone for refuge to this great store of meritorious qualities, yet not a single one do I possess. As yet, however, my life has not slipped between the jaws of the Lord of Death, and having a modicum of faith in you, I do consider myself fortunate. Among teachers, the teacher of dependent arising. Among knowledge, knowledge of dependent arising. These two, like a mighty conqueror in the world, you know to be supreme where others do not. All that you have taught proceeds from dependent arising, its purpose the transcending of suffering. Nothing you do, therefore, is not for peace. Your teachings, those whose ears they fall upon will all find peace. Who, therefore, would not hold them dear? Across their breadth, no contradiction. Opponents' arguments all destroyed. Fulfilling the two aims of living beings. My joy in these teachings grows and grows. For this knowledge you gave away over countless eons again and again, your loved ones, your possessions, sometimes your body, other times your life. Seeing such qualities, I am drawn by your mind, like a fish on the hook, not hearing your Dharma from you in person, such misfortune. By the pain of each sorrow, my mind will never give you up, like the mind of a mother for a precious child. And yet as I think on your words, hearing you talk of this and that, teacher with the voice melodicus Brahma, resplendent with features of perfection, encircled by garlands of light, your enlightened form reflects in my mind, like the cool light of the moon, medicine for my feverish torment. Those unwise in this wonderful doctrine were confused and entangled like plaited grass. Seeing this, I follow with diligence the great scholars, seeking again and again your thoughts, poring over many works of our and others' tradition, yet still my mind was torn by doubts. When, with the kindness of my lamas, I saw this unsurpassed vehicle of yours, leaving behind extremes of existence and non-existence, elucidated by the prophesied Nagarjuna, his lotus grove illuminated by the moonlight of the glorious Chandrakoti's teachings, whose globe of stainless wisdom moved freely through the sky of your words, dispelling the darkness that holds to extremes, outshining the stars of false speakers. It was then that my mind found its peace. Of all Buddha's deeds, his words were the greatest, and they were words of dependent arising. Let the wise therefore remember him this way, becoming ordained into the way of the Buddha, by not being lax in study of his words, and by yoga practice of great resolve, this monk devotes himself to that great purveyor of truth. Due to the kindness of my lamas, I have met the teachings of the greatest of teachers. I dedicate this virtue, therefore, for every living being to be nourished by true spiritual friends. I pray that the teachings of he who remain unscattered by the winds of false views until the end of time, and with faith in the Buddha gained from understanding their essential nature, may they pervade forever. In all my births, even at the cost of my life, may I never falter nor shrink from working for the wonderful doctrine of the mighty Buddha, who showed clearly the nature of dependent arising. I pray that I pass my days and nights in thinking how I might spread this Dharma, born from the heroic perseverance in the face of countless hardships of this supreme guide. When I pursue these endeavors wholeheartedly and sincerely, may I be supported constantly by Brahma, Indra, Mahakala, the four guardians of the world, and all other protectors. So now again, in a separate booklet, chanting the names of Noble Manjushri. So I was editing this week a letter of advice from one of the Sarah May Geshis. And he said that His Holiness the Dalai Lama usually recommends this practice because by doing this practice, it helps to bring swift recognition of the reincarnation. In Indian language, Arya Manjushri Nama Sangiti. In Tibetan, Pakpa Jampal Gi Ketsan Yangdakpa Drupa. In English, chanting the names of the Noble Manjushri. Homage to ever youthful Manjushri. First, the request. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, supreme subduer of the hard to tame, the hero conquering the triple world, Vajra Lord and master of all secrets, with eyes wide open like white lotuses, his face just like a lily in full bloom, while shaking in his hand repeatedly a Vajra of the highest excellence, accompanied by countless Vajrapanis, with features such as fierce, turbulent brows, subduers of the hard to tame, heroes appearing with heroic, hideous forms, brandishing in their hands their mighty Vajras, the tips of which emit intensive light, great benefactors to all living beings, through skill, through insight, and through great compassion. With pleased and happy attitudes, with joy, their bodies those of wrathful deities, protectors who assist the Buddha's deeds, their bodies bowing reverentially. Paid homage to the true awakened one, protector, blessed one, Tathagata, and joining his two palms respectfully, he said before the Lord the following: O omnipresent Lord, for my well-being, with due concern for me and for my sake, that I may reach complete awakening upon the basis of illusion's net, and for the sake of every living being sunk deep into the mud of ignorance, their thoughts disturbed by various afflictions, so that they may obtain the highest fruit. May you, the most supreme awakened one, the blessed one, the world's guru and teacher, who knows the great Samaya's reality, aware of wishes and abilities, reveal to us the great name chanting of the wisdom body of the Blessed One, the great Ujjanisha, master of all speech, the self-arising wisdom emanation, the wisdom deity called Manjushri, these names with meaning both profound and vast, of great significance, unmatched, serene, with goodness at their start, middle, and end. of the eons past, and to be taught by Buddhas yet to come, and taught not once but time and time again by all the Buddhas of the present age, which were respectfully recited in Illusion's net, the Tantra most supreme, by multitudes of mighty Vajrapanis, the joyous guardians of secret mantras. Just this I shall uphold with firm resolve, until I reach my final liberation, so that I may become a great protector, the bearer of the Buddha's every secret. And this I shall reveal to living beings, according to each one's capacity, in order that afflictions may be quelled, so ignorance may fully be dispelled. With this request to the Tathagata, the master of all secrets, Vajrapani, his body bowed, his palms politely joined, then stood before the Lord devotedly. 2. The reply. And so the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, the best of men, the fully awakened one, extending from his mouth his handsome tongue, a tongue unmatched in both its breadth and length, displaying a gentle smile to living beings, a smile that fills the threefold world with light, that tames the enemy, the four Maras, that ends unwanted birth in all three forms. His voice melodious like that of Brahma, completely filling all the triple world, replied as follows to the Lord of Secrets, to Vajrapani, strongest of the strong, that you, abounding in supreme compassion and aiming to assist all living beings, are willing and prepared to hear from me this evil-quelling, purifying chanting, the chanting of the names so filled with meaning, of Manjushi's embodiment of wisdom. How truly excellent, O Vajradhara, how excellent of you, O Vajrapani. And so I shall, O Master of all secrets, reveal just that to you most splendidly. With single-minded focus, listen well. How excellent, responded Vajrapani. So truly excellent, O Blessed One. 3. The survey of the 6 families. And then the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, surveyed in full the family great with mantras, the family of the Vidyas and the mantras, the family that is threefold by its nature, the family of and yet beyond the world, the family great in brightening the world, the foremost family of Maharudra, and so the family great with great Upanishas. 4. The stages of awakening according to Illusion's net. And then about the Lord of Speech, he spoke these verses, which include 6 kingly mantras, which manifest from non-duality, which bear the quality of non-arising. A, I, U, I, O, A, Shtito, Hridi, Jana, Murtiya, Aham, Buddha, Buddham, Triya, Viva, Virtida, O Vajra, Tikshna, Dukkha, Kreda, Prajna, Jana, Mote, Jana, Kaya, Vagispara, Apashane, Te Nama. By the great Vajradhatu Mandala. And so he is the Blessed One, the Buddha, awakened fully, born of the letter A. He is the letter A, the foremost phoneme, supreme most syllable, with meaning great, arising from great vital force, unborn, beyond expression based on words or speech, the foremost cause of every form of speech, the shining forth of every kind of language, great feast who takes the form of great passion, producing bliss in every sentient being, great feast who takes the form of great anger, great enemy of every mental poison, great feast who is by nature great delusion, delusion's vanquisher for deluded minds, great feast who is in essence great fury, great adversary to all furiousness, great feast who takes the form of great desire, who vanquishes desire in all forms. He is great carnal lust, he is great bliss, he is great happiness, he is great joy, with great appearance bearing form supreme, with great complexion marked by great physique, with great renown, the great munificent one, his mandala voluminous and great, the bearer of the mighty sword of wisdom, the foremost goad for taming great afflictions, possessing great renown, his glory great, his brightness great, his luster most supreme, most wise upholder of the great illusion, fulfiller of the great illusion's aims, enraptured by the great illusion's rapture, the great illusion's great illusionist, the foremost lord of great munificence, supreme upholder of great discipline, intense supporter of great tolerance, with valor rooted in great diligence, samadhi resting through great meditation, endowed with bodies flowing from great wisdom, both great in strength and great in skillful means, a brimming ocean filled with vows and knowledge, by nature great in kindness, limitless, the foremost mind enriched by great compassion, of great insight, of great intelligence, great dexterous one with methods ever great, commanding powers and great miracles, with driving force supreme, with speed unmatched, renowned great Lord of foremost majesty, most valorous owing to his great might, destroying the massive mountain of becoming, holding strong a massive Vajra, great terrifying Lord, the great cruel one, provoking fear in great and daunting creatures, protector as the greatest of all vidyas, a guru as the greatest of all mantras, traversing well the Mahayana's path, himself the Mahayana's foremost way. 6. The wisdom of the Immaculate Dhammadhatu. He is Mahavarachana, the Buddha, great sage observing great intensive silence, arising from the great mantra way. He is at heart the great mantra way, accomplished in the 10 paramitas, having the 10 paramitas as home, in whom the 10 paramitas are pure, for whom the 10 paramitas are means, protector reigning over all 10 grounds, residing steadily on all 10 grounds, made pure in nature by the tenfold knowledge, maintaining purity through tenfold knowledge, with tenfold forms intent on tenfold content, with tenfold strength, pervasive Lord of sages, achieving every aim for every being, endowed with tenfold mastery supreme, beginningless, complexity devoid, by nature pure, reality and essence, unwavering, a speaker of the truth, with speech and actions perfectly aligned, a teacher of the non-dual truth, non-dual, atop reality's most lofty peak, with selflessness his wild lions roar, instilling fear in deer-like misled seekers, with journeys fruitful, travelling everywhere, as swift as thought in all Tathagatas, a victor, slayer of foes, triumphant lord, a universal king with forces great, assembly head, instructor for assemblies, assembly lord, assembly chief, the ruler, most influential, bearing precious burdens, not other bound, his way the greatest way, the Lord of speech, the master of expression, most skilled in words, adept with language truthful, with boundless words, the teacher of the truth, providing teachings on the fourfold truth, not coming back, not turning round, rhino, the leader of the Pratyeka Buddhas, gone forth by going forth in different ways, the single cause of all great elements, Arhat Bhikshu, defilements exhausted, devoid of passion, master of the senses, arrived at comfort, met with security, for he, having cooled down, is free from stains, equipped in full with knowledge and its base, knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging onto mine, established in the system of two truths, upon the edge of cyclic life's far shore, with deeds accomplished resting on the bank, emerging from untainted lone awareness, with sword-like insight, ever penetrating. The Son, the Dharma King, the noble Dharma, supreme illuminator of the world, the Dharma Lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, the teacher of the path to excellence, accomplishing all goals, fulfilling aims, completely free from wants of any kind, bereft of thought and non-depleting source, the Dharma source, supreme beyond decay, enriched by merit, merit's gathering, unique great wisdom, wisdom, wisdom rich, aware of what exists and what does not, while gathering the twofold gathering. Eternal Yogin, king of everywhere, the object in the mind of concentration, the master of intelligent reflection, for by myself alone is he experienced. Immovable, the ultimate beginning, the holder of the 3 enlightened bodies, the Buddha formed of 5 embodiments, the omnipresent made of 5 wisdoms, is deity with 5 awakened ones, with all 5 eyes, maintaining non-attachment, the great progenitor of all the Buddha's eminent and foremost son, arising from the world of true insight, the sourceless Dharma source, existence ending, comprised of Vajras, wholly dense and firm, the newborn sovereign ruler of the world, emerging from the sky, the self-arisen, a massive blaze of knowledge and of insight, illuminating beacon of great light, a lamp of wisdom shining brilliantly, a light for beings, a lantern unto wisdom, with energy supreme, most radiant, the Vidya King, the greatest mantra's Lord, the Mantra King achieving noble aims, the great Ushnisha, marvelous Ushnisha, the Lord of space, revealer of all things, the best embodiment of every Buddha, with eyes the joy of every living being, creator manifesting varied forms, great sage deserving praise, deserving worship, a mantran born into the triple family, upholding mantras of the foremost pledge, the greatest bearer of the triple gem, who teaches all 3 peerless vehicles, with snare unfailing, most victorious, the snatcher ever great, the Vajra snare, the Vajra hook, the snare of excellence. 7. The mirror-like wisdom. Called Vajra Bhairava, he is terrific. 6-faced, the king of anger, hideous. 6-eyed, 6-armed, the ever-powerful, bearing his terrible fangs a skeleton. Hala Hala, 100 faces proud. Yama killer, ruling obstacles, instilling fear with Vajra impetus. The Vajra-hearted, famous for his Vajra, with belly large with Vajras of illusion. The Vajra-born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty with his single dreadlock, his clothes an elephant's raw hide, still moist. The great terrific one who cries ha-ha, who screams he-he, instilling fervent fear. His laugh a screeching laugh, a booming laugh. Here's the Vajra laugh, the mighty howl. He is the noble Sattva Vajrasattva, the Vajra's sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hungs of Vajra Hunkara. With Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra, Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife. With eyes like Vajra fire, truly dreadful, with hair that's like a Vajra set ablaze, emotion of the Vajra, great emotion, with eyes like Vajras, eyes 100-fold. Sprout upon his body, his unique figure marked by Vajra hairs, with nails advancing Vajras at their tips, with skin that's solid like a Vajra's core. The splendid master donning Vajra garlands, adorned with Vajra-fashioned ornaments, with booming voice, his laughter crying ha-ha, 6-syllable producing Vajra rumbles. Great Manjughosha sounds supremely loud, a roar unique unto the threefold world, the voice that reaches every bound of space, preeminent amongst all voice endowed. 8. The wisdom of discernment. He is a being whose fully realized truth, reality is peak and selflessness, supreme in propagating emptiness, unspoken, teaching both the deep and vast. The Dharma conch emitting piercing sound, the Dharma gong with lasting resonance, arriving at unbounded liberation. He is the Dharma drum in all directions. Without a form, with handsome forms supreme, replete with forms diverse comprised of mind, with splendor shining through his every form, with all reflections under his control. Invincible, renowned as Lord Supreme, the Lord Supreme who rules the threefold world, abiding on the noble's lofty path, great source of flourishing, the Dharma's crown. With youthful form, unique unto all worlds, the elder senior father of all beings, adorned with 32 auspicious marks, most beautiful, most handsome in all worlds. The teacher teaching mundane good and knowledge, the teacher to all beings most confident, the world's most trusted guide, protector, savior, the refuge unsurpassed, the guardian. With rich enjoyments filling all of space, the knowledge ocean of omniscient beings, while smashing through the shell of ignorance and breaking through the cage of cyclic life. The thorough queller of intense affliction, arriving at samsara's opposite shore, his crown the crown of wisdom consecration, his ornaments comprising perfect Buddhas. The soother of the pain of threefold pain, the ender of the trio ending free, arriving at the threefold liberation, completely free of every obscuration, having achieved equality's skylight. Beyond the stains of every last affliction, aware of timelessness in all three times, most eminent amongst all sentient beings, the crown amongst those crowned with noble virtues, completely free from every kind of substrate, established firmly on the path of space, a splendid wish-fulfilling jewel in hand, the best of all that's precious, omnipresent. Fulfilling tree most plentiful, the greatest of all great auspicious vases, fulfilling the aims of living beings, a doer, an ally most beloved to all creatures. Aware of good and bad, aware of times, the omnipresent knower of the pledges, upholding pledges, conscious of occasions, awake to varied aptitudes and beings, with expertise in threefold liberation, with virtues knowing Dharma, auspicious, source of all auspiciousness, of all auspicious things the most auspicious, great splendor, glory, good, most prosperous, great reassurance, foremost celebration, great joyousness, the highest form of pleasure, abundance, reverence, action, venerable, great happiness, the noble Lord of splendor, the greatest granter of all wishes, wished for, the highest source of refuge, refuge granting, the fearsome enemy of potent danger, alleviating danger in all forms, with tufts of hair, with plumes of luscious hair, with matted locks, cord tied, 5 face with 5 head tufts, his head well crowned, his head adorned with garlands of 5 strands, upholding great observances, head shaven, the foremost of observances, chaste student, with great austerities, perfected fully, he is the greatest bather, Gautama. A Brahman, knower of Brahman, arrived in full at Brahman Nirvana, awakening its branches, liberation, release, complete tranquility, quiescence. Nirvana, peacefulness, tranquility, approaching graceful entry to Nirvana, the culmination ending pain and pleasure, the state devoid of passion, free from substrates, beyond defeat, unmanifest, unmatched, not making manifest, appearance free, pervasive, timeless, fully omnipresent, beyond seed free, unstained, devoid of passion, passionless, controlling humors, free from every illness, by nature most awakened, fully awake, omniscient, knowing everything, supreme. Beyond reality is consciousness, pristine awareness, bearing non-dual form. Beyond conceptualization, effort-free, acting as Buddhas do in every age. The Buddha endless and beginningless, the Buddha at the start devoid of sequence, with wisdom as his only eye unstained, Tathagata with wisdom as his body. The sovereign of all language, great debater, best of orators, the best and greatest of communicators, the unassailable, the lion of speech, with universal vision, true delight, with fire garlands, handsome to behold, the endless knot, most radiant, great luster, with shining rays in hand, providing light. The best and foremost of all great physicians, unequaled in removing thorns of pain, a tree providing medicine for all, a foe opposing every malady. The lovely crowning jewel of all three worlds, a cluster of the stars most glorious, the end of space in all its 10 directions, the hoisting high of Dharma's victory flag, sharing one large umbrella with the world, with love and kindness as his mandala, the celebrated lotus lord of dance, pervasive with his precious parasol, the blazing energy of all the Buddhas, with bodies fully shared by all the Buddhas, the highest union formed with all the Buddhas, the single teaching taught by all the Buddhas, most glorious with Vajraratna's blessing, the highest sovereign lord of Sarvaratna, the king supreme of Sarvalokeshvara, the lord on high of Sarva Vajradhara, the quintessential mind of Sarva Buddha, residing in the mind of every Buddha, the greatest body born by every Buddha, the lovely speech enriching every Buddha, the scorching brightness from the Vajra sun, with stainless luster from the Vajra moon, great passion of the passionless and others, with multicolored rays that brightly blaze, the perfect Buddha's perfect Vajra posture, retaining for all beings the Buddha's Dharma, the lotus Buddha's celebrated son, the knowledge treasurer for the omniscient, the sovereign king controlling all illusions, the foremost master of the Buddha's spells, called Vajra Tiksna, sword supreme mighty, completely pure the highest syllable, atop pain's remedy the Mahayana, with Vajra Dharma as his mighty weapon, with Vajra depth renowned as Jinaji, with Vajra thought aware of how things are, perfecting all perfections perfectly, adorned by all the grounds of bodhisattvas, the selfness of pure phenomena, with luster that is moonlight unto knowledge, with great endeavors as illusory nets, the foremost master ruling every tantra, endowed in full with every Vajra posture, completely furnished with all wisdom bodies, completely good with intellect supreme, the embryo of earth sustaining beings, great embryo from which all Buddhas form, with emanation circles most diverse, the highest nature of all entities, supportive of the nature of all things, with goals for all, with dharmas unarisen, supportive of the nature of all dharmas, with full awareness of phenomena, in but an instant is the wisest sage, with vivid realization of all dharmas. He is a sage, the greatest intellect, the vanquisher of hosts of evil spirits, unwavering, completely pure in nature, grasping the wakefulness of perfect Buddhas, the direct realization of all Buddhas. He is the flame of wisdom, luminous. 9. The wisdom of equality. The great fulfiller of desired aims, the purifier of all evil states, the greatest of all living beings, protector, the earnest liberator of all creatures, unrivaled knight in battle with afflictions, humiliating ignorance his foe, the celebrated mind of amorousness, endowed with forms heroic and repulsive, the dancer moving to and fro his hundreds of lengthy arms, while setting down his stride, the dancer spreading through the whole of space and filling it with Srimat's 100 arms, stood tall atop the surface of the earth, the sole of just 1 foot pervading all, stood tall atop the summit of the world, the nail of his big toe suppressing all, whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual Dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness with varied objects, forms and cognizance, amused with every object of existence, a mind of passion, loving emptiness, transcending worldly passion and the like, with great enjoyment for the threefold world, with fair complexion white like pristine clouds, with radiance like beams from autumn moons, with luster rivaling the morning sun, with nails emitting light of crimson red, whose handsome crown has sterling sapphires, whose hair has tips of sapphire deep blue, with glory from the light of his great jewel, adorned with emanations of the Buddhas, the shaker of 100 worldly realms, his strength the four miraculous powers, reality with mindfulness supreme, samadhi king of fourfold mindfulness, infused with sense from bloom on Bodhi's branches, an ocean of Tathagata virtues, with knowledge of the Eightfold Path's true way, with knowledge of the path of perfect Buddhas, the great attachment of all living beings, attachment-free, comparable to space, when springing up in every creature's mind, he is for every being as swift as mind, aware of all the aptitudes of beings, while captivating every creature's mind, with insight into aggregated natures, himself with fully pure 5 aggregates, atop the peak of every going forth, most skilled in going forth in every way, established on all paths of going forth, the teacher of all forms of going forth, uprooting all becoming with 12 links, endowed with purity in all 12 forms, his form the way of fourfold noble truth, with realization of the eightfold knowledge, with meaning of the truths in 12-fold form, aware of suchness in his 16 forms, with true awakening in 20 forms, awakened fully, knowing all supreme, dispatching countless sets of some 10 million, embodiments of emanating Buddhas, the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds, and manifesting for the sake of beings with means derived from varied vehicles, gone forth by way of all three vehicles, remaining in the single vehicle's fruit, with purified afflictive spheres at heart, annihilating every karmic sphere, arrived atop dry land from flooding oceans, emerged from yoga's perilous dark road, released from general, minor, and complete afflictions and their latent tendencies, with insight, means, and foremost empathy, achieving fruitful aims for living beings, abiding object three through all, with consciousness as object with cessation, with every being the object of his mind, with knowledge that's the mind of all the Buddhas, residing in the mind of every being, having become their mind's equality, and satisfying the mind of every being, he is for every being great inner joy. Confusion-free regarding points of doctrine, completely free from error in all its forms, his thinking free from doubt, his object threefold, his object all, three properties by nature. Throughout 3 times the content of 5 skandhas, discerning clearly each and every moment, awakening in that single moment, his basic nature equal to all Buddhas. With body bodiless, the best of bodies, with realization of the peak of bodies, displaying his form in every possible way, he is the greatest stone, the precious gem. 10. The wisdom of performing actions. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables yet born of mantra, arising from the great mantra's threefold family. The father to the meaning of all mantras, the greatest Bindu, void of syllables, with 5 great syllables, great empty one, 100 syllable, devoid of Bindu. Endowed with every form, yet free from form, supporting half of 16 Bindus, transcending every grouping, void of members, sustaining dhyana's 4th and final peak, aware of dhyana's each and every aspect, with knowledge of samadhi's types and families, the best of bodies, body of samadhi, the sovereign king of all enjoyment bodies, the best of bodies, emanation body, the heir to emanations of the Buddhas, with varied emanations everywhere, but benefiting all, however needed. The sovereign of the gods, the god of gods, Asura Lord, the ruler of immortals, the king of deities, the god's guru, the highest lord of Pramatas, Pramata, emerged from cycled life's imposing forest, the single teacher, guru for all beings, in every well-known world, in all directions, the eminent bestower of the Dharma. Concealed by armor made of loving kindness, well shielded by the shield of empathy, with wisdom sword in hand, with bow and arrow, concluding war with ignorance and kleshas. The Mara's enemy and tamer hero, eliminating threats from all 4 Maras, defeating all the armies of the Maras, a guide for living beings, the perfect Buddha. Deserving homage, worthy of respect, deserving reverence, always honorable, deserving worship, worthy of regard, the highest guru, ever venerable. Traversing all 3 worlds in just one stride, his step extending past the bounds of space, with knowledge of the 3 well-versed and pure, with 6-fold higher knowledge and recall. The Bodhisattva and Mahasattva, with power great, transcending worldly life, perfected by his excellence of insight, now unified with insight's highest nature. The whole, aware of self, aware of other, for fit for all, he is the best of merit, surpassing all to which he is compared, supreme most lord of knowing and what's known, the foremost master of imparting Dharma, who shows the meaning of the fourfold seal, the most revered amongst all living beings, engaged in going forth on all 3 paths, with glory purified by ultimate truth, most fortunate within the threefold world, the celebrated source of all endowments, supreme among the glorious, Manjushri. 11. Praise for the wisdom of the 5 Tathagatas. Homage to you, boon granter, best of summit of existence, homage to you. Homage to you whose source is emptiness. O Buddha's awakening, homage to you. O passion of the Buddhas, homage to you. Desire of the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O love of every Buddha, homage to you. The joy of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O smile of every Buddha, homage to you. The laugh of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O speech of every Buddha, homage to you. The heart of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. Arisen from non-being, homage to you. Homage to you, arisen from the Buddhas. Arisen from the sky, homage to you. Homage to you, born of pristine wisdom. O net of illusion, homage to you. Homage to you, the Buddhist spectacle. Homage to you, the everything of all. O body of wisdom, homage to you. Om Sava Dhamma Baba Sabhava Vishada Vaja Prakriti Parishuddha Sava Dhamma Yad Uta Sava Tathagata Janakaya Manjushri Parishuddhin Upadayati Sava Tathagata Hridayam Hara Hara Om Hri Bhagavan Jana Murti Bhagishvara Mahavacha Sava Dhamma Gagamala Suparishuddha Dhamma Datu Jana Gaba Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, noble God, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata, with a host of other Vajrapanis of varied forms, the lords of Kyakas, sublime protectors, noble wrathful kings, he then exclaimed this effervescent praise. Protector, we rejoice, how excellent what you have clearly taught. Aim has been achieved, which leads to true and full awakening. And so the aims of helpless mundane beings who seek the fruits of perfect liberation, just this taught in Mahajala, is the noble path that leads to excellence. With largeness, vastness, and profundity, with meaning great, achieving beings' aims. Just this comprises every Buddhist sphere. Just this is taught by all awakened ones. So now we'll bless the tea. Om Ahung, Om Ahung, Om Ahung. Lama Sangha Lama Tradition Lama Gedente Kungi Jepo Lama Te Lama Namla Chupabu. Guru is Buddha, Guru is Dhamma, Guru is Sangha also. Guru is the creator of all happiness. To all gurus I make offerings. May I and all those around me in all future lives never be separated from the Triple Gem, always create merit by making offerings to the Triple Gem, and receive the blessings of the Triple Gem, which means all the realizations from Guru devotion up to enlightenment, but especially bodhicitta and clear light. So as you'll notice, there's a selection of beautiful photos of Rinpoche there available if you would like to take one when you leave. And also in this bowl here, there are packets of salt from the holy body. So as they're changing the salt every 2 or 3 days, then there's salt to take as a relic blessing. What Chimpa wants on the pearls is another 4 instead of 3.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
No, I mean, I won't be here. But he thinks he doesn't like that space below the flower. So, I don't know. At a certain point it becomes too much.
You have a very accurate eye.
The salt, are you supposed to put it on the altar?
Yeah, it's a relic,
On your
yeah.
body?
It's a relic, yeah.
Oh,
You
it's
put
a
it on your
relic.
altar. I don't know, I think it might be too much with 4.
I like it how it is.
Yeah.
The lights are a little bit, the beautiful person, you have this black thing.
Mm.
You need different lights.
But I think it's hard to get on anything like that extreme.
Somebody can
Wow.
breathe.
Hmm?
Somebody can breathe.
Yeah, that's true.
You know they have this,
Singapore.
they're really nice. You probably have it in Australia as well. You have like gold,
Oh, actually,
wire.
brass one.
Yes.
Yeah. Bunnies. I've got some in my altar at home.
Yeah.
Now we need someone coming.
Well, Lawson is coming.
Oh, okay. Tell me to go to Bunnies.
We have to take a photo of what we need. Can you get a photo?
When's he coming?
27th. We have time.
Yeah, so these ones I have use rechargeable batteries,
Rechargeable batteries.
and they last like 2 or 3 days.
I mean, but it's more beautiful than that.
Rinpoche never liked these pulsing lights. He always liked steady, and they should have an attachment.
You can just go in your room and take a photo. Somebody has a key in your room.
Well, it's unlocked.
If we take a photo, it will be easier.
Also look on the website.
To find the right. How many packages? How many packages?
How many packages? Oh no, this is really quite a long string.
Is it long enough?
Oh, more than enough. Yeah,
Just even one?
maybe too long.
Just one?
Yeah, just one would be plenty.
Try to find one.
So now we're continuing with the King of Prayers, which is on page 156 in the prayer book. The extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samadhibhadra. I bow down to youthful Arya Manjushri, you lions among humans, gone to freedom in the present, past and future. In the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom are Buddhas numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas, and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, or wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all positive potential of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitude realizers, hearers still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained to Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions, and all you gone to freedom in the past, accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath the Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsaric beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives and all varieties of existence, may I practice the Bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. Footsteps of all the Buddhas, and perfecting the practice of a Bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise, with ethical discipline, faultless and pure. May I teach the Dharma in the language of gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and of demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 parameters, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world, free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease the suffering in the lower realms and in the many directions and dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening and be of worldly benefit to them as well.
May I practice constantly
For eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of being, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by Bodhisattvas, without pause or discouragement for ease of time. May I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of a Bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, and liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless, pristine wisdom and positive potential. I shall see Buddha fields numberless as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus I am continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, an expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word. The Buddhas, communication suited the varied tendencies of beings. With strength of understanding, I plunge into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma, of all Buddhas in 3 times gone to freedom, who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons, and I will enter into all eons of the 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future alliance among humans, with the power of the illusion-like stabilization, while constantly engaged in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands, present, past, and future. Likewise, I shall enter the array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of this world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift magical emanation, the power to lead through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all-surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination, and through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, diffusing the power of interfering forces. I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fulfill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of eons. To awaken fully through this Bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice, all good 3 times everywhere, in order to practice exactly as the wise one called Samantabhadra, all-embracing good, the elder brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas. I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate just as the skillful Samantabhadra with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure bitter fruits.
I shall give rise to
the aspirations of Manjushri, for this Bodhisattva practice of all-embracing good, to effect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in immeasurable activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. The end of space, likewise limitless are living beings, thus limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions, and one may offer during eons numberless as atoms of the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. Whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration and longing for highest awakening gives rise to faith just once.
creates far more precious positive potential.
Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all lower rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha infinite light. And even in this very human life, they'll be nourished by happiness and have all conducive circumstances. Without waiting long, they'll become like Samadhi himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family, attributes, and appearance, they'll be invincible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all the 3 worlds will make offerings. Going quickly to the noble Bodhi tree and sitting there to benefit sentient beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt the complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, of holding in mind by teaching, reading, or reciting this aspiration of the Bodhisattva practice. In order to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samadhi as well, completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication which is praised as greatest by all the Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness for the attainments of the Bodhisattva practice. When the moment of my death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations and directly perceiving Amitabha, may I go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy.
Having gone to Sukhavati,
May I actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them all without exception, for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. Born from an extremely beautiful superlative lotus, in this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions, with 1 billion emanations by the power of wisdom. Through even the small virtue I have accumulated by offering this prayer of the Bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential by dedicating this prayer of Samantabhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in this torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers in samsara, through the accomplishment of this scripture dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may suffering realms be utterly emptied of all beings. So now the prayers for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche in the separate booklet. The first one by His Holiness. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious one, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the 3 jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Then the prayer by Khensa Jadu Rinpoche. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of victorious Jamgon Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the 3 vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. So then the prayer by Kadrila. Guru, think of me, Guru, consider me, most gracious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the 3 times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dhammakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kachara or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings. Such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, mind, and spontaneous activity, through our not being confused with receiving things in erroneous ways, we confess with the luminous emptiness of the three kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness. May there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith in Samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled, through the blessings of the deities of three roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. So at this point we can start to do circumambulations and make offerings. So just starting with the Sangha, and so just two or three, maybe two people going at the same time, then just taking it in turns until everyone's had a turn. And while this is happening, the rest of us will continue to recite the swift return prayers. Beginning with His Holiness's prayer. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious one, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving one pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Jado Rinpoche's prayer. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general and the teachings of victorious Jamgon Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma, holding the three vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigrated beings along the perfect path, true and perfect Guru, please return quickly. Kadrula's prayer. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most gracious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the three times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dhammakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you. I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kachar or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor. Such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, mind, and spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your three kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness. May there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith in Samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled, through the blessings of the deities of the three roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. His Holiness's prayer. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-mindedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings you suddenly departed to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of victorious Jamgun Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the three vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most precious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the three times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dhammakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you. I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kacha or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor, wretched beings. Such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, mind, and spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your three kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness. May there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith and samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the three roots. Perception, its objects, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. His Holiness's prayer. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the skull all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of the victorious Jamgun Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the three vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigrated beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most gracious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the 3 times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dhammakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kachara or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings, such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samayas that we have made in relation to your body, speech, mind, and spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your 3 kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness. May there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith and samaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the 3 roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. Back to His Holiness's prayer. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious one, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable Venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointed for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the 3 jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of victorious Jamgon Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the 3 vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect Guru, please return quickly. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most gracious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the 3 times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within the dhatu of unimpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dhammakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kachara or other pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to this southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings, such is the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your speech and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, mind, and spontaneous activity, through our being confused and conceiving things in erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your 3 kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness. May there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith in Samaya, our eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled, through the blessings of the deities of the three roots. Perception, its object, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse. The blissful clarity of suchness. Ah. So now we'll do a dedication prayer. Page 137. No. The Lama Rinpoche, sorry, 147. So just think that we're dedicating all the positive energy that we've created together by doing these prayers. The goals outlined in this prayer, but most importantly, to the swift reincarnation of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. For my two types of merits, vast as space, that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, for the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Janchu Semcho Rinpoche Make Panam Gegyuchi Yepa Nyampa Mepa Yi Gone Gondu Bawa Sho. Due to all the three-time merits created by me, by all the numberless Buddhas, numberless sentient beings, which are merely labeled by the mind, may the I, which is merely labeled by the mind, achieve Buddha's full enlightenment, which is merely labeled by the mind, and lead all sentient beings who are merely labeled by the mind to that fully enlightened state, which is merely labeled by the mind, by myself alone, is merely labeled by the mind. So, thank you very much. So we just gather together the prayer books and make a quick exit.
Your prayer books over.